fear will be a thing that can either hold you back or either push you forward. When I learned how to lean into my fears and I learned how to use my fears to move me forward, I overcame a huge bunch of hurdles. What is that thing that if you would just use fear to move forward, that you could accomplish? This is Ken, and I make content designed to help us make life moves. As I always say, let's make life moves because life really does move. And today, we're gonna learn how to use our fears to motivate us to success. So here's what you need to know about me. I am absolutely afraid of dark spaces. So I have claustrophobia, but it's connected with the fear of dark spaces. So whenever I'm in a large dark room or something like that, it feels kind of uncomfortable and it makes me uneasy. But here's the problem. Oftentimes I'm the first person to work or I'm the last person at work. So as I mentioned before, I'm a pastor. And so if I walk into the church building and it's at night, guess what? I'm in a dark space. If I walk into the building and it's the first thing in the morning and I'm walking across the sanctuary before I get to the light switch, guess what? I'm in a dark space. And I've got to learn how to deal with that because I can't stay in the same space. In the same way, many of us have fears that have got us stopped where we are, fears that have us standing in the same place. Or on the other side, we have fears that something's chasing us. And so we do one of two things. Either we freeze or we run. And so this week, I want to talk about those fears that have us in a space where we are not moving forward. We are just in a holding pattern. We are stuck, as it were. So how do you use your fear to get you to move? Well, here's the first thing. Deal with the discomfort. When I go into a dark room, I have to figure out, okay, wait a minute. Which is more uncomfortable? Is it more uncomfortable for me to stand here in the dark and not do anything? Or is it more uncomfortable for me to move across the room, go to the light switch and flip it on? And I realize that it is much more uncomfortable for me to just stand in the same place where I am than it is for me to move across the room and go turn the light on. And so I do a little trick of the mind. I can either stay in the same place in the dark and feel uncomfortable for a long period of time. If I do that, what happens is someone may come in and we aren't ready for a meeting. Something may need to be done that I'm not getting accomplished. I may have a phone call or a meeting that I need to get to that I'm not getting to because I'm standing in the same place. On the other hand, if I use the fear to allow me and to help me to move across the room, what happens is I'm dealing with the discomfort for a little bit of time. I move across the room, I turn the light on, and then the discomfort is gone. I've used that to help me to move. In your life, perhaps there are some things that you're afraid of that have you in the same place for a long period of time. What you're afraid of is the start. You're afraid of what if it doesn't work? You're afraid of what if I don't get the job? You're afraid of what if they don't like me? Well, guess what? You can use that as I can either stay in this same place for a long time or I can jump out there and try and get beyond the discomfort in a much quicker time. So if there's a job out there and you're like, man, I really would like that job, but I'm afraid to apply for the job. Think of it this way. Which is more uncomfortable? Staying in the same place where you are for the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years? Or is it easier, less scary to go ahead and apply for that job and get beyond that discomfort? Which is greater? The short-term application or the long-term staying in the same place? Right, you got it right. It's kind of like me staying in the dark for a long time or walking across the room, turning the light on. It's easier to deal with that short-term discomfort and then to move beyond it. It will help you get started. It will help you step out there. The fear is forcing you to move because you don't want to stay in the same place. So what is it that you're fearful of right now that you could get beyond that temporary fear if you would just take 3 steps forward? Is it a new job? Is it moving to a new city? Is it starting school? Is it a new relationship? Is it getting your house organized? Is it washing the dishes? Is it There's all kinds of things that it could be. But what you have to help your mind to understand is that staying in the same place where you are right now is actually more uncomfortable, is actually more painful, is actually scarier than it is to take the 3 steps to get beyond where you are. So go ahead, step out there, handle the discomfort, walk across the room in the dark, and turn the light on. What I've also discovered is that when I'm in those spaces where it's really dark, I don't move slowly. I move kind of quickly. I may not run across the room, but there's urgency behind what I'm doing because I don't want to be in that space of discomfort for a long time. I actually want to get beyond it. Now, here's something that I want to say, but I want you to hear the whole thing. When you're in a space of discomfort, you're in a space of fear, the quicker you get beyond it, the better off you'll be. However, don't move so fast that you miss steps. So I could run across the room, trip across chairs, trip across a desk, trip across something that's on the floor, or I could move with energy and move with speed, but pay attention to the things that are around me so that I'm not missing things. So as you're moving quickly to get beyond the discomfort of your fear, as you're moving to get to that next thing, don't move so fast that you don't dot the I's and cross the T's. Don't move so fast that you cut corners. So you want to move with urgency, but you don't want to move so fast that you create a bigger problem for yourself. So for instance, if you're going for that job, yes, you have to fill out the entire application. Yes, you have to submit the full resume. Yes, you need to do a spell check. Yes, you need to do a grammar check. Do everything you need to do, but don't make it last forever. Get it done in an afternoon. Get it done in one day. Get it done in a weekend, but don't make it last a whole month. Don't make it last a whole year. There has to be urgency so you can get beyond that fear of being in that space where it makes you really uncomfortable. So move, get going, get it started, get done with it so you can cross that thing off. What I've found is that what happens often is that the fear of the process keeps us stuck in one place. But if you can get through the process quickly and successfully, you'll find that that fear is behind you. So what we're doing is we're using fear to get us to move quicker. We're using fear to get us to go through the full process instead of staying in the same place. It's the idea of saying, you know what? I'm not going to allow the fear to hold me in this space. I'm going to use the fear to move me through this space so that I can get to the other side. And what I found is that when I get to the other side, I can look back and say, I made it. Let me flip that light on and stop being in this dark room. Well, what dark room are you metaphorically sitting in right now that if you would just start the process, if you would just move with urgency, you could get through the process and get to the finish line, and then you'll be able to look back and say to yourself, wow, it made me uncomfortable. Wow, I didn't necessarily like walking across that dark room, but you know what? I'm beyond that now, and now I can see what the next steps in the process might be for my life. You have the ability to accomplish great things, but fear will be a thing that can either hold you back or either push you forward. I'm suggesting that if you decide to allow fear to push you forward, that you will find yourself in a greater space. That's the life move that you need to make. Address your fear and use it to propel you forward. You have goals in life. You have things that you want to accomplish. What is that thing that if you would just use fear to move forward, that you could accomplish? Hey, that's our life move for today, and that's where we're headed. And so drop something in the chat and let me know what you're going to commit yourself to overcoming, how you're going to use fear to push you beyond where you are right now. Drop it in the chat. I'll respond to you pretty quickly here, and we'll work this thing together so that we can all use fear to move us forward. That's our life move for today. Hey, as always, I tell you guys that you are in the right place at the right time to be all that you've been designed to be. So let's keep making life moves together, because life really does move. Hey, did you like and subscribe? Like and subscribe. Come on, join the group. All right, I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.